Hello, welcome to a new unboxing. Today with your RC car. This is an HSP model, the so-called monster truck. So this is a 1/16 scale RC cars. You can find the monster truck design, but also, for example, some off-road buggy or some speed drift model. Well, all of them are based on the same chassis, and this model also comes with brush motors, brushless editions and neutral editions. Okay, so today will be the review of the brushed motors, the first basic editions. The motors is the 380 versions. Okay, so what we'll find in this nice box? Well, the car itself. Here is these beautiful cars. In the first glance, you can notice that is no more a simple toys. You can feel that you have a lot of engineering behind and the background, a lot of details. So, well, I will dive into details in a few moments. Okay, it's very beautiful cars in the first instance. You will find this radio. A big model, so you will need up to 8 AA batteries, so it's a lot. The first time I saw so much batteries required to feed your to feed your transmitter. Okay, so you have all the panel here, so the power switch, the steering trim, the throttle trim, and here you can calibrate the main ESC. You can find in the tiny button a bind button, and you can reverse control for probably the ESC control and sub-selections. So nice ideas. If you install some NEMH batteries, you can charge directly without removing the batteries through this power plug. Okay, so this is definitively a nice idea. So well, you can grab it very easily. The wheel is okay, not too smooth or too hard, so very nice. Okay, so what also you will find this charger power adapter. It's ending with Tamaya plug, so usually used in the RC cars. Okay, so it came with a Europe adapter, but I guess also come in American sockets. You will find also a binding plug switch, okay, to install in your channel 3 of your receiver if you need to rebind your transmitter. An antenna tube mount, okay, to install vertically the antenna. You will need to drill a small hole, I guess, in your canopy to insert it. And finally, a lot of documentations. So the first one is the radio control. So they explain everything how to first all the role of each button or indicators of switches. Okay, so you have a power switch, trimming for steering, trimming for a throttle, and you have also the 16, which is the dual rate, as I said. So you can simulate a dual rate by turning the central part. Okay, so you have the binding procedures explained in this page 3. I will show in live how to proceed. Well, it's well done. It's in English and Chinese. You can find there the list of the spare parts. So in the first part, you will find the normal edition of the car. Okay, for example, you will find the brushed motors indicated here by its 380 types of brushed motors, and it's using NEMH batteries ranked 1100 milliamps per hour, and you have all the reference of all spare parts. And this model is no more toy because you can upgrade some parts. Okay, I will show another panel. But the interesting is this table, this brush version, which I'm reviewing actually. It's announced to have a top speed of 26 km per hour. It's not very fast, but it can come also in a brushless editions with motors having a kV equal to 4,450 kV. Okay, and the top speed reach 36 kilometers per hour. And finally, top brushless editions with a higher capacity batteries and reach 50 kilometers per hour. So you can find the all the other elements of the normal edition and the Pro and the top versions. So for example, in the top version, the main difference will be here you have a metal gears, 16 teeth instead of 20. So it increased the top speed, of course, and the spur gear is in metal as well in the Pro. In the normal edition, the spur is in plastic or nylon. Okay, so you have to know. And well, you have also the full split diagram. Okay, if you want to reassemble or disassemble your cars. So a nice instruction. And you will find another user instructions. This one is more dedicated to the nitro. You don't find a lot of indication for the electrical, except the basic information you already have in the remote part. Well, so here are the upgrade edition. If you want to change all the elements to have carbon or full metal parts, you can. Of course, the price of the car will be multiplied by a factor 2 or 3, but it's possible to change everything to have an aluminium. It will first make it much more solid, much more faster, and also probably lighter. Okay, so I will start to describe the car. I will first give an indication of the weight and also an indication on another type of 1/16 scale model. This is a first entry model, a double toys car. This is the A959 or 69, if I'm not wrong. So both cars are using exactly the same type of motors, some 380 types. Okay, as you can see. Okay, but this one, if I can compare, is in the first glance much more lighter. So of course the price is all the elements are not so performant. For example, you have this basic shocking system, absorber of shock system. Okay, compared to this one, we got a double one. You can see, double one. You have a small shock absorber here on the frontal bump, as well on the rear part. Okay, so all these small details will add a lot of weight. The servo, for example, the steering servo is much more stronger compared to the double toys model, compared to these toys, if I can compare. This is this tiny servo. Okay, so of course, with a larger servo, you will have a much more strength in your steering direction in high speed. And as you can see, you will find a lot of main difference. Maybe the common thing is the size of the chassis. Both are in plastics, and the size, the width of the plate is more or less the same, something like 3 millimeters. So it means that this extra weight added in this car can be a problem. If you have a frontal shock, I guess this part will absorb the shock, but I'm afraid in high speed, if you have a lateral or side shocks, it will probably damage the steering arm here. I'm a little bit afraid of that. So be aware to not, for example, at full speed to crash into a pavement or something like this. You will have some problem due to this close to 300 extra grams compared to these versions. Okay, even more, because with the LiPo, it scales something like 1 kilo 100, so it's a lot for a brushed edition in my point of view. Anyway, let's have a look inside. So I will remove the clips. So as you can see in the first glance, and as already said, this car can be upgraded from A to Z. So it means as you can see, you have a radio receiver completely independent of the ESC. Okay, so this is the ESC with cooling, a fan cool installed on it, and the main power lead ending, of course, with the Tamiya connector. Okay. One remark, if I can take something here. Okay. On the ESC you have a jumper, and if you look closely, if you install this jumper on the first and the second instead of the second and three pins, you can turn this ESC to be used with LiPo battery instead of NEMH by default. So if you want to add some extra speed, you can change this LiPo to this NEMH battery to a LiPo. Okay, so here is the battery compartment. The batteries, if I can measure, maybe it will give you an indication. The battery scales something like 132 grams, 33, ranked 1100 milliampere per hour. No discharge rate indicated. Okay, but I will measure the different lengths. For example, the wide is 32 millimeters. Okay, 33. In length is my caliper is a little bit hard. Something like 10 millimeters, 100 millimeters, 10 centimeters. Okay, and in wide, but you have a lot of free room in wide, something like 18 millimeters. Okay, so you can install. You don't have a lot of free place in width, only in height. You can install maybe more height, but I don't think so. So the battery compartment without modding cannot be. You can't install any larger LiPo in this battery compartment, I'm afraid. So basically, you have to connect the battery there with on the Tamiya connector, and as I said, it's a real car. Well, at least first edition is no more a choice. Why? Because you can find an independent receiver here. So channel 1 is for the steering, and channel 2 is for the main throttle motors. You have a third one, channel 3. It's used to bind your receiver with your transmitter. Okay, so if for any reason you want to rebind your transmitter, you have to proceed like this. Install your bind plug into your receiver like this. I will install on channel 3. Okay, it's installed. Then you can turn on the cars on the mini switch there. Then you have to press the bind button on the remote, press it and turn on the transmitter. Okay, so when it's done, the receiver LEDs become solid. It means that it's bind. Okay, so you can turn off the transmitter, turn off the cars, remove the bind plug, and now if I turn on the radio first and then the car, okay, you will hear this nice music, and the red LEDs is solid, it means it's bind, and you can see it's okay. No, sorry. Okay, so it's working. So it's how to rebind your car in case of problem. So I will turn on the car first. Okay, here you have the steering trim, as you can see. Find this central position, more or less. Here you can find the, if I'm not wrong, the Durarate trim. So you can increase the top speed by playing with this button if you want. Okay, and here you will find the throttle trim. So be aware, you have to find the central position. Okay. Okay, like this. So you can trim everything very precisely. So that's a good point. And well, so it's a very good radio for first entry cars, well, 116. So it's of course already, maybe I forgot to mention, it's a four-wheel drive car. So it's maybe more adapted for, I think, for beginners or if you want to practice off-road, because two-wheel drive is maybe more difficult to control in the first RC car, in my point of view. Well, so if I turn off the radio now and everything, so maybe the main drawback of these cars in the first glance, the metal, the spur gear here is in nylon. In this normal edition, it would have been a little bit better to have directly a metal one, and the gear, motor gears here is a brass one, so it will be damage versus time. So it would have been a little bit better if everything would be in metal. Okay, so of course, as I already mentioned, the chassis is in plastic, even seems solid. Don't try to have crash, of course, if you can avoid, to have a lateral crash at full speed, because I'm afraid it will damage seriously your cars. But anyway, I've got a good feeling of durability. What I like is all the details are of the construction. What I like also is the suspension, shock absorber. They are not soft like this car, which is well, if I can, it's so the shock absorber system is a little bit weak compared to this one. You can see that you have a more ground clearance, and you can see that this car will perform better off-road, of course. The system is the choke systems is very much better, working much better in the first glance. So well, also one drawbacks I noticed, here you don't have any ball bearing installed, but on this part only oil bushing. So well, it could be replaced by real ball bearings if you want to reduce a little bit the frictions. And of course, if the first time you receive the cars, since it's a brush motors, I advise to perform a braking. So at least you can perform a dry braking. So how to proceed? You have to turn on the cars, to turn on the radio, okay, and to gently run the car like this during 5, 6, 7 minutes at very low speed, and the motors will break in. Okay, so you do like this during 5 minutes, and after you will clean the motors with a spray cleaner. You can find some spray cleaner to remove the brush residues, or if you have airflow, you can clean this motor with a powerful airflow. Okay, so I advise to proceed the braking procedure in order to add durability of your motors. Okay, so I think I hand this unboxing of this nice HSP monster truck model. So to resume, the build quality, the general build quality is great. All the small details, I like the thrust absorber, the fact that for the first entry model you have separated AC with a receiver, their radio range control is announced to be more than 100 meters. I'm sure it's okay. And I like the torque absorber systems, very efficient. What I like also, I didn't mention, are the tires. They are much more better than the comparison with these double toys, which are so weak, and here they are much more harder, and you can feel that they can attack the off-road condition much more better and much more durable. The X-Driver I screwed are M4, if I'm not wrong. I will correct in the video if I'm said something bad. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please thumb it. If you like my channel, please subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.